All right. So I'm going to speak to this straight as if I'm talking to a friend because I know you guys, if you're using this app, you're probably a friend of mine or even closer than that. Or maybe not. Doesn't really matter. But here's a story. I already know this because I lived this. You've got tasks in your notes app. You got tasks all over the place. You got appointments in your Google Calendar. You got appointments in your Microsoft Teams and every other app that you use. You have ideas in your head. You have to-do lists that are like 3 weeks, 4 weeks old, and you just can't get to everything. You're busy all day, but you can't tell me what actually moved the needle. And you keep double booking yourself because nothing seems to talk to anything. Sunday night hits, and you're kind of like, man, I have no idea what Monday actually looks like. So, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the system that I built to fix exactly that. I'm going to introduce you to something that I think is very, very cool, and I'm going to walk you through it. All right, so let me talk about this a little bit more. You have, it's like scattered tools everywhere, and scattered tools equals what? Scattered focus. Every app that you switch back and forth translates into a decision tax. No prioritization equals reactive living to everything. And I'm just talking straight from my heart here. Urgent always beats important. It doesn't matter whether it's your boss or whether it's your kids or whether it's like whoever just shows up in your life. When they show up in your face, they become the priority instead of your priorities. You don't have any time to reflect. No reflection equals no compounding. The same mistakes over and over again, different week. No visibility of your total life equals missed commitments, double bookings. If you're in the client world, you got dropped clients, like you don't follow up with them and you break your client's trust. And all of this, I'm not trying to beat you up here. It's just simply to say, this was me. This is exactly what my life has been. And it's not a discipline problem. It took me a minute to capture this, but it's not a discipline problem. It's actually just a systems problem. So, what I'm going to show you with my tool here in the platform is it's simply just 7effects. It's a productivity system. And I built this for high performers who really want to take command of their day. And this front little visual here is just to give you a depiction of what this platform is about, right? It's just all of the stuff that comes at you in your life. We throw it literally right here. You capture everything before it's lost. You organize everything in your life into what actually matters to you. You prioritize by what drives results, not what's the loudest. And then you execute. You execute and you repeat that over and over and over again. That's what I call winning. And let me take you into it. It's not a whole lot here. But what differentiates this between every other tool that you've ever seen? I'm going to walk you through like just the main areas here that I think are very, very important. I'm going to walk you through we have like 7 areas here, and I'll walk you through them. We have our quick capture bar. This little area right here. You have your at a glance, like what's going on in your day. You can just take a peek and see if there's anything coming in. It tracks your login streak, tracks any appointments, any scheduled bookings that you have. You can see right here, and how much of your task did you actually complete. And you have this little productivity notice that kind of gives you a warning. So you have that, but there's some things that I want you to think through. You have your Eisenhower matrix is what the framework this platform actually uses, and it's what it's built off of. And it's built off this one single concept. What actually moves the needle forward? So this isn't a to-do list. It's a filter for what actually matters today. And we built these quick captures here to give you the ability to capture everything that comes at you in the format of how they apply to really living. And we built these areas into something called life buckets. And I'll go into detail about them later here. And then I created this master journal because every day I want to be able to just think through how many wins did I have? How many failures did I have? Or I won't call them failures. We'll call them things that we need to improve on. And then how do I just capture my day? Like, how do I just take everything that just happened throughout my day and capture that and put that into my journal? And I put this inside of this master, what I call my productivity system, because I want to be able to reflect back on my life and pay attention to things that matter to me. And those things that matter to me helps me to do one thing, to see visually my blind spots. So let's walk through this. Like, I'm gonna walk you through the dashboard. All right, so if you click on this little button here, this dashboard covers, and it says dashboard here, it covers what you see on your main screen. And this is where I just kind of come and work from. And on the dashboard, you have a main search bar where you can search everything inside your productivity system. And I'll talk more about that. Well, let me just show you. So it's just main search bar. Like, say for an example, goals. Anything that I have captured already, let me see, books. Anything to do with anything that I've ever done. Let's see, grocery. Right, so I have a project called grocery. Anything that you have in here, if you search it, it'll pop up in this area here. So you can see with the word watch, I have videos that I want to watch. I have a idea, and I have first client stuff, and just some random things. This is basically a global search bar. Just wanted to show that to you. All right, and right beneath there, you have your productivity notices. This lets you know anything that is overbooked, overcommitted, or any warnings that you need to be watching out for. This quick capture allows you to see at a glance any type of note or link or goal or video that you want to watch, or any task that you want to quickly capture. You can access those right here. And this area down here is basically your task management command center. It allows you to capture tasks and organize those tasks based off what's going on in your life. Okay. So let me give you an example. Say for an example, you see this area down here where it says add a task and press enter. Let's say video demo for you. If I type that in and press enter, you notice that it assigned itself a new date. And if you come up here, you can see that it moved itself all the way up here and it automatically gave it a location. But I'm going to hover here to edit this date. I click on the date and I'm going to clear this out because I don't know when I want to get to that. So I'm going to just clear that out. Now you see a little dash mark here. And if you keep looking inside of this line here, there's a lot of features that are kind of hidden. One of them is, as I moved over this little calendar, you notice the hand activate. And as I move over this waffle, you notice the hand activate. These open up features. If I hover over this, it brings up a little window. And this little preview window tells me anything I need to know about this specific task at a glance. And notice that I'm gonna go to this bar here. Of course, you have tab, your time, the task, the actual thing that needs to be done, the importance of that task, the urgency of that task, and you have the state. State is not like the state you would, as the states we live in the United States. It's actually your state of mind. And I just want to call the state because it's important to the energy levels that you're using for each of these tasks. The bucket, this bucket directly ties into the life buckets. And I'll explain some of that a little bit more. And project is just a subfolder in your bucket of life. And the minutes, of course, is just the allocated minutes. And notice here, these three dots, this allow you to manage. You can mark this as move the needle, you can delete it, or you can open up the full editor for this task. So now that we've covered all of the main features for the task, I'm going to double click on this task, open it up, and you get to see what's going on inside of here. Now inside of here, you get your title, the buckets, and this bucket is tied directly to this bucket over here, and the task type. And this is whether it's a task, whether it's a habit, whether it's an appointment. You get to manage your start and end date, the due date, and the time, and you can see that it's optional. The state of mind, whether this is a deep work task where you want to be in a deep flow state, or whether it's a quick task, or whether it's a low energy task, or whether it's a personal task. You can set your time that you estimate to complete this and any notes specifically pertaining to this task. And this, of course, expands based off whatever you want to capture, whatever you need to capture. And right inside this master notes field, you have the ability to mark this as important, urgent, or if it's a move the needle task. Any of these sliders that you turn on gives you a little notice on your previous screen. And of course, if this is a repeating task, you get to set your repeating options, whether it's daily, or whether it's just Monday through Friday daily, whether it's a weekly task, where it show up on your calendar once a week, or whether it shows up on your calendar once a month, or if you want to set a custom date. Okay. Now down here we have roadblocks, and I selected this because sometimes when I'm looking at things that are on my calendar to do, if there's a roadblock, like say for an example, in this specific one, video demo for you, I don't have a camera. If that was a thing, that means I need to go purchase a camera. So when I save this, I click on save. Now, if we go back and we find that video demo for you, you notice that it's now has a little orange film over it. It's like a little highlight of orange. It's telling me a couple things. That little highlight of orange tells me that this is a needle moving task. And the needle moving option can also be selected by simply clicking on this little rocket ship here. Now, if I hover over this and let my mouse sit on this for a second or two, notice that it pops up a little window now and it has more data. And notice that the blocked warning is on this task now. It's marked as urgent as we marked inside. It's also marked as important, but notice down at the bottom in the blocked area, it says, I don't have a camera. I need to purchase a camera. So at a quick glance, you're able to see a lot more details without actually opening the card. Now, I'm going to show you some other features here that I want to make you aware of with what you can do with the task. And you'll get familiar with these and you'll move through this very fluidly. But I want to show you. So say this video demo, if you click on the drop down arrow here, you'll see business, home life, health and fitness, finance, relationships, and personal growth. Now, these areas here, I'm going to talk about them more in detail in a moment, but I want to share with you, these are the areas that I assigned to my personal life that were consistent to all of the things that matter to me. My business life, my home life, my health and fitness, my finances, my personal finances, my relationships, and personal growth. So I'm going to select business for this particular one. And notice that it popped up with the business in the bucket area, and it has a little blue color dot beside it. Now, if I slide over to the right, if I click on project now, and I look at these drop downs, I notice that I have retention, delivery, employee, marketing, and sales. And for me and my business, these are all of the static items, the items that show up all the time that I have to deal with in my business bucket. I have to deal with employee retention, customer retention or client retention, delivering to those customers or clients, and my employees, all of my employees that I have to manage, anything to do with marketing, anything to do with sales. So this particular one here, because it's just a video demo for you, I'm going to mark this in my client delivery bucket here, and it'll pop up there in a second. So now that I have that done and I'm going through the video, I want to share with you another little feature here that you can do with any of these. And you notice that I don't have a time allocated to here. And all of these other items in this task window are the same. But what I want to show to you is the area right beneath that. If I look at my day, I can see all of these items on my day view and the options of views that are available to you with the calendar view. You have your day today. You get to take a quick glance at your tomorrow. Then you can have a weekly view that shows you Monday through Friday, or Monday through Sunday, I'm sorry. And then a full month view, so you can see exactly what's going on with your month. All at the click of a button, you can change your views here. But what I wanted to show you with these other icons and what activates with these is, notice when I hover over this calendar here, I get the hand. Now, if I click on this, left click on this, and I can drag this down, I get the option to go down and drag this and place this on any day of the calendar that I want. So the video demo for you today is the 9th. I'm going to drag this to the 14th. That's when I want to complete that. And as soon as I let go, it brings up the option for me to select the time and a duration for creating the video. So I'm going to select 45 minutes and I'm going to schedule that. And notice that it drops here on your calendar. So now with that ability, I can just literally drag and drop any calendar, any task right onto my calendar, and it would select the option for me to select the time and date for that. So as you're typing task and you're running through your day, you can just drag and drop these wherever you want. And of course, select the time for any of those, and you get my drift, right? All right, so now we're going to move into our life buckets. The life buckets, these are the areas that I think are applicable to me. Now, inside of here, these are applicable to me, but they're customizable. So these areas are all of the areas that I have deemed as important to my whole entire total life. Business, I run a business, and you can replace business with career if that's you, and if that's where this fits for you. My home life is all the things that are important to my home life. That's including paying my mortgage, groceries. I had a random biking project. I have a friend that wants to go biking, so I selected biking here, but you can delete that and add another project by selecting project and creating another project. Home bills, the bills that I have to pay, and anything else related to your home that you want to place in here. You can add them simply by creating a project, and you can add items to those projects. Okay, let me show you how this is relevant to your task. So remember how we talked about, and if you go back to your dashboard and you type in a task, and we selected the buckets. So as you select the buckets here, if I go to home life, notice that now that the projects have the options of my home life bucket options. So grocery, biking, remember the biking project, and home bills. So that's where those sub projects come into play at. And you get to build them out right from there. Okay. So getting to Vasa, my home life, I'm actually going to assign that to health and fitness. And the projects there is, I'm going to select gym as the project, get to Vasa. And I want to do this daily. So if I double click on this guy, I can come down here and select daily. I'm just going to select Monday through Friday. Repeats until I'm going to select 2027, December 31st. There's no roadblocks to that, so I'm going to save that. So now you're going to look at your calendar, you're going to see Vasa is one of my daily goals or daily options. All right, so I'm going to go back to life buckets. So inside of life buckets, you have your home. I think we talked about home. We have that. We did cover that. And health and fitness. So inside of health and fitness, what I selected, and you can customize these according to your will and whatever you need. My spirituality, my mental health, my gym life, the food that I eat, and of course, any general tasks are inside of my health and fitness. And this is just an example. Inside the customization here, you get to select a color. And this color is important for multiple reasons. One of them for me is, I'll explain that as I go through all of the buckets here. There's 3 or 4 of these buckets here that are predominantly here, but you can also create and add more buckets as applicable to you. And sometimes I create buckets based on big areas that are going to be in my life for a period of time. Let's say, for an example, I start a new adventure, and it doesn't apply to my personal growth, relationships, finance, health, or fitness, or whatever. I'm going to call this big adventure. We do cool stuff. Okay. I don't want to add a cover picture. I just want it to be, let's select a random color here. I want it to be black. So now, as you notice, Big Adventure is up here. It has that little black line here giving me the color. If I click on Big Adventure, there's nothing in here, right? This is what it looks like when you get a new project. But I'm going to create a project. The Big Adventure is travel to Fiji. I think that's how you spell it. Don't judge me, okay? All right, so travel to Fiji. And inside of traveling to Fiji, I need to pack a suitcase. And I don't want to assign anything to it. I just want to create it right now. So pack suitcase is a thing to do. I just want to show you how those items get populated there under these sub projects. And you can add projects directly here, or you can go back to your dashboard and you can type in a project here, do other things. I'm gonna hit return, and notice the do other things kind of went here. And I want to go assign that to Big Adventures. And notice the travel to Fiji. It's there. Bada bing. So that's how that works. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk about the calendar here. This calendar is just a visual calendar. Okay. And the reason why I put this calendar here is for nothing other than to have a moment of reflection. And on Sundays, this is how I use my Sunday. You can pick whatever day of the week you want, however you want to do this. But how I do this is every Sunday, what I do visually is look at my entire calendar. And this is where the colors come into play. Every color represents something to me. And if you notice on my life bucket, I had 6 buckets here. So now we have 7 because of the Big Adventures. But I had 6 buckets, and each bucket has a different color. Okay. So when I look at my calendar, what I am looking to see is, do I have 6 colors across my calendar for every week? And on Sunday, when I'm doing my review, I'm literally just looking over my last week to see if I see 6 color schemes. I'm not looking at the task. I'm not looking at what was done or what wasn't done. I'm just looking to see if the items that I have deemed as important were actually put on my calendar to do. And what this does over time is it gives you the ability to see at glance, are you spending time on the things that actually move the needle for you? Okay, that's what that is for. It has no other features here. It's just a typical calendar, and you can create tasks and add them straight to your calendar, and you can move forward and advance through the years and days and months as you see fit. All right, let's move on to Resource Hub. Resource Hub is remembering your dashboard, all of those items that you have in your quick capture. This is where they show up. They get populated here in this area called Resource Hub. And we have them with a quick separation by notes, links, videos, and ideas. All right, so if you click all, it's going to show everything in once. If you select notes, you'll be able to see all of the quick notes that you captured. And you can see them here, and you can double click them and click into them and see what they're about. Links, same scenario. And give you an example here, I had this LinkedIn post that I wanted to follow up on. So I just saved the link right here inside of links, and I can click on it and activate it, and I can go straight into LinkedIn. Okay, and this 4-step method, I want to show you this from school. I'm in an environment or in a community that I get to share and communicate and reflect and just talk to other entrepreneurs, and I wanted to save that link there. For videos, sometimes I have hundreds of YouTube videos that I want to watch, and I want to go back and look at and see what's going on with them. And this is where I have that here. So all of this as you like. And the same scenario with ideas. These are business ideas that I caught in my quick capture that I can go back and access them here. All right, I'm going to skip over this one here for a second. I'm going to go straight into Master Journal. So in Master Journal, we have daily, weekly, and monthly journals. Every single day, I focus on just capturing the things that I want. I did well. I did extremely well, and I wanted to make sure that I'm making these notices captured so I don't beat myself up for not performing well, right? Sometimes, I don't know if this is you, but for me, sometimes I beat myself up for not doing things that are commensurate or in congruence with what I think are important. So at the end of my day, I go through and I actually capture the things that I actually did do. And sometimes I'm happy about it and sometimes I'm not. But one thing I will tell you, since I've been using this system, that I've been capturing a lot more wins, and it has kept me in a better mood than it has not by not using the platform or using the system. And challenges, things that I didn't do well, things that challenged me. And some of the things that I wrote in here are kind of funny. This particular challenge, my pillow was wrestling me before I could even check the time to get out of bed. That's semi-funny. Next focus. Next focus is the things that I want to focus on for the next day. This is how I use this particular block. And one of the things that I wrote down here was sticking to my sleep goals, going to bed at 9 o'clock, right? So that's one of the things that I've done. You can use it however you want. This journal here is just a daily capture of everything that kind of hit me for today. And I use this on my phone, and I actually just activate this with the talking feature. I talk and I just talk throughout my day and I capture everything. And once I'm done talking with my complete thoughts, I just click save entry and it saves it and it's stored. And you can see an entry from the day before and how that works. And the same thing works for weekly and monthly. The difference is you don't activate weekly every day, right? So you pick a day of the week that you capture your wins, your challenges, the things that you want to focus on for the next week. And then of course, any journal entries for that particular week, and the same applicable system for monthly goals. Up here, you see past entries. So you can click on that and select any entry from the past. And of course, any new monthly goals that you want to access here. And over here on the side, we have one area here, analytics. You get to see what percentage of needle moving activities did you actually do for the period that you're clicking on your analytics. So right now we have 12 tasks in the system and we've completed 10 of those tasks. So we have a 78 completion rate. We have 7 buckets. We have 9 open tasks and we have 31 tasks complete. So you're actually just getting things done. All right, inside the scheduling area, I'm going to wrap this up last. What this gives to you is your own personal Calendly booking system. When you first come in here, there won't be anything inside of this area. You'll see your name as the tooltip, right? I type T-Sleon for test Sleon, just for an example, so I can show you how this works. And once you click on save that handle, it gives you the ability to have your own Calendly event system. And you can create as many event types as you want. Each of these little blocks here are event types. And if you click on copy this link and paste it into a browser, or you can share it, it gives you the ability to simply go to a calendar and you can see, if you select the time, people can make appointments with you. You get this feature built into here and you can have as many of these meeting types as you want. Okay. So now that I've covered all of that, I want you, I'll share this. You have a toggle of dark mode and light mode here. And now that I've covered all of this, you get to see something that no one else really sees. This platform is not a platform that's centered around capturing tasks. It's giving you the ability to simply manage your life more efficiently and see the items that move the needle forward for you. So, and as you notice, I'm clicking on these items here and they're disappearing. That's what makes the task, this is what shows that you've actually completed the task. But what I wanted to show you was any time when I sit down to review my calendar, I look at this every morning. Every morning I come to my office and I sit down and I review my day. And what I do to manage my day is I organize my entire to-do list. I'm going to select all again. And I'm going to uncheck some of these just so I can carry through this example. Okay. And I'm going to go back, select active. What I do to manage my day, if I'm sitting down at my desk to go to work, while I'm here, what I'm looking at is what's going on over here in this little column of state. Because when I first get to my desk, I want to be using my fresh, vibrant energy where I have the most energy to be focusing on flow state task. And I noticed that I have a lot of items going on here. And I also noticed that I have multiple buckets selected here. So if I'm sitting down at my desk to go to work, I don't want to be looking at everything. I don't want my whole view here of tasks that I'm working on to be focused on everything going on in my life. So I'll click on filter and I'm going down and I'm going to select a bucket. And because I'm at work and focusing on business things, I'm going to select the business bucket. And it, of course, will give you the filter of what's relevant to business. So I'm not looking at all my tasks, right? And now I have a quicker view of the things that are needle moving. And I know they're needle moving because they have that little orange peach looking highlight over them. And they have the 2 rockets selected here. And now, because both of them are, needle moving, I also have these other qualifiers to let me see what's urgent, what's important. And being that this task here, creating this video for you, is urgent and important, this is the task that I'm going to focus on first. It's called Eat That Frog from Brian Tracy. So I get to focus on the most urgent task and the most important task just with simply selecting a filter and giving myself that view. And this is how I get started on my day. And with the system, I'll tell you, nothing is ever really perfect. Like there's some days where I don't get everything done, but what it allows me to do is see everything and get to visually get everything out of my head and visually in front of me so I can see it and access it and work on it based off my own priorities that I set for myself. Okay. So that's my video. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you enjoy using the platform. And if you need anything, reach out to info@surf7x.com. Thank you.